All right, we got the GOAT. We got the GOAT, Caitlin Clark, back hard at work, spotted in the gym, working out, getting her game ready to take over and dominate the 2026 WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is finally back in the gym after that mysterious injury kept everyone guessing for months. Fans and the Indiana Fever would normally be celebrating their star player's return to form. But things took a shocking turn. While Caitlin is working hard to rehab her ankle and get ready to dominate again, her head coach, Stephanie White, dropped a bombshell that has the fan base outraged. She made a comment so disrespectful and tone-deaf that many are now demanding Caitlin request a trade. What's even more shocking is how casually Stephanie White said it, like she didn't just insult the player who's been crucial to the franchise's success. Before we get to that explosive moment, it's important to understand what's really happening behind the scenes. There's much more going on beneath the surface.
Ready. Already. We getting ready. Okay? Shout out to Correlation on Twitter. I see you, mama. Shout out to you. For all, she be having the updates. She be having the updates. Here we have it. Yeah, we getting the ankles right. We getting the groin right. We getting everything together. Everything.
This footage, shared from Ari McDonald's TikTok, shows Caitlin Clark in the gym, working out with her teammates, rehabbing her ankle, and rebuilding strength after last season's injury. Fans have been eagerly waiting for this moment, seeing their superstar dedicate herself to off-season training and preparing to return stronger than ever. What's shocking is that this is happening at a time when the Fever's viewership has dropped an astonishing 55% since Caitlin stopped playing. That means more than half the fans disappeared when she was sidelined, highlighting just how crucial she is to the franchise's success. The team went from being must-watch basketball to experiencing empty seats and declining TV ratings without her on the court. This stark reality proves who the real franchise player is. Yet, Stephanie White and the front office seem completely blind to this fact, making public statements that are truly baffling and tone-deaf given the circumstances. Their disconnect from what fans see and value could have serious consequences for the team's future.
Very disturbing things to say. We all know Stephanie White's a bonehead, and for whatever reason, she in the Fever organization or whoever feels like they should be building the team around Kelsey Mitchell. We've heard plenty of times, Kelsey Mitchell, she is our number one priority last year. She'll be our number one priority this year. So being that, Kelsey Mitchell is the number one priority.
Listen to how he puts it. Stephanie White is a bonehead. That's not just frustration. It's a clear sign that she's seen this coaching staff make one baffling decision after another. What most people don't realize is that White has been pushing the Kelsey Mitchell narrative from day one, not just after the season ended or last week, but from the moment she took the job. She's been in interviews, podcasts, press conferences, constantly talking about building around Kelsey Mitchell, as if Caitlin Clark is just some role player they picked up off waivers. The disrespect runs deep and it's calculated. It's about to backfire badly because when you have the most marketable player in women's basketball history, someone who brought unprecedented attention to the league, and you publicly prioritize someone else, you're practically begging that superstar to leave. This approach is not only short-sighted, it's a surefire way to lose the very player who could transform your franchise.
Well, this is a quote from Stephanie White. I want to continue to build around her. She is absolutely the number one priority. Now, she said she was the number one priority last year. She'll be the number one priority this year. So, being that Kelsey Mitchell is your number one,
I want to continue building around her. She is absolutely the number one priority. Those are Stephanie White's exact words on the Fever Insider podcast. And she's talking about Kelsey Mitchell, not Caitlin Clark. Before anyone jumps down my throat, Kelsey Mitchell is a talented player. She can score, has range, and has been with the organization for years. Nobody's disputing her talent. But here's the brutal reality Stephanie White apparently fails to see. Kelsey Mitchell had 7 seasons to become a household name. 7 seasons to fill arenas, to create buzz, to make casual fans tune in. And in those 7 years, crickets. The Fever were largely irrelevant. Outside of hardcore WNBA fans, most people didn't know who Kelsey Mitchell was. Then, Caitlin Clark arrives for her rookie season, and suddenly, the entire sports world is paying attention. Tickets become impossible to find. The Fever are back in the spotlight. And as a head coach, your response is to say you're building around Kelsey Mitchell? That's a disservice to the superstar who's proven she can elevate the franchise. Yet, the team's leadership still chooses to prioritize someone else.
On Caitlin Clark, let's get something clear here. Let's get things clear all the way around the board. How about that? Let's get this thing clear all the way around the board. Caitlin Clark is the reason people was even tuning into Indiana Fever games. Y'all lost 55% of the viewing audience once she wasn't playing.
Did you catch that part about the owner's son? Because that's where things get really interesting. There are whispers, coming from people connected to the organization, that ownership is not happy with how this situation is being handled. Think about it from their perspective for a moment. You're a business owner who just watched your investment skyrocket in value because one player brought unprecedented attention to your product. Your arena is packed, merchandise is flying off the shelves, and TV ratings are through the roof. Then your head coach goes on a podcast and clearly indicates she's prioritizing someone else. If you're in ownership's shoes, you're probably thinking, what are we paying this coach for? Because this isn't just poor basketball strategy. It's disastrous business management. Caitlin Clark is worth millions in revenue to this franchise, and Stephanie White is out here treating her like a secondary piece. That disconnect could threaten the very future of the organization.
Y'all lied about the injury. Y'all strung people along. Y'all wouldn't let her come back. Strung people along for an entire damn near season. Y'all waited until 2 days before the last game of the season to say she wasn't coming back. Why? Because y'all was trying to keep her fans in tune. Y'all was trying to keep hope so that, hey, I'm going to buy a ticket for down the line and hopefully she'll be playing. Or I'm going to watch today. Maybe she'll get announced that she's playing. Like y'all used her and strung her fan base along.
But what that injury situation really exposes is how dysfunctional this organization truly is. They kept fans hanging for nearly an entire season about Caitlin Clark's return. Week after week, it was she's day-to-day, she might play next game, and we're evaluating her progress. And get this, they waited until just 2 days before the final game of the season to officially announce that she wouldn't be coming back. Why? Because they were milking her fan base for ticket sales and TV viewership. They knew all along she wasn't going to return, but they kept the hope alive to keep fans buying tickets, tuning in, and investing emotionally and financially. That's not just poor communication. That's outright manipulation. Now, those same people running the organization want us to believe they have Caitlin's best interests at heart when they say they're building around Kelsey Mitchell. It's hard to take that seriously, given how they handled Clark's injury and return.
From being next to Caitlin Clark, and she's a hell of a player. Not taking that away, she's a hell of a player. There's a lot of hell of a players in the league that nobody cares about. And what nobody checking for Kelsey Mitchell prior to Caitlin Clark standing next to her. That's just the facts. That's just a fact, bro. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it real around here. What nobody checking for Kelsey Mitchell prior to her standing next to Caitlin Clark.
Nobody paid much attention to Kelsey Mitchell before Caitlin Clark was standing beside her. That's a hard truth, but it's an accurate one. This is where we need to discuss the Caitlin Clark effect, which surprisingly only the WNBA seems to fail to grasp. Every other major sports league understands her value. The NFL recognized her impact when they featured her at games. The NBA acknowledged her influence on basketball, and the golf world is even building an entire event around her participation. These organizations see Caitlin Clark as a once-in-a-generation talent who brings attention, eyeballs, and excitement wherever she goes. But the WNBA, and especially the Indiana Fever, act like she's lucky to be part of the league at all. It's genuinely mind-boggling. What makes this even more frustrating is that this isn't about diminishing Kelsey Mitchell or any other player. It's about recognizing reality. Caitlin Clark is a transformational talent who can significantly change the economics of any team she joins. If the coaching staff and management can't build their system around her abilities, then they're failing at their jobs. Ignoring her impact isn't just short-sighted. It's a fundamental mistake that hampers the league's growth and potential.
Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston 1-2 punch. We take our talents elsewhere. That's how I'm feeling about it. That's how I'm feeling. Straight up. Straight up. I personally think Kelsey Mitchell can fit in with the Caitlin Clark, like we saw the second half of the rookie season, post-Olympic break and all of that. But Stephanie White wants everything to run through.
So, his suggestion is to focus on building around Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, and let Caitlin Clark take her talents elsewhere. Honestly, that might be the smartest move for everyone at this point. The core issue comes down to organizational philosophy. Stephanie White clearly wants her offense to run through Kelsey Mitchell, making her the primary shot taker, controlling the pace, and being the main focus. That's her vision. But here's the problem. This approach completely wastes what makes Caitlin Clark so special. Caitlin isn't just a scorer. She's a unique playmaker with an extraordinary ability to see the floor differently than almost anyone in basketball history. She elevates everyone around her by manipulating defenses and creating scoring opportunities. You can't truly maximize her talent if your system is built around someone else. It's like having a Ferrari and using it for grocery runs because you're used to driving a Honda. To unlock Clark's full potential, the team needs to rethink its approach and design an offense that highlights her unique skills.
And she talked about it some. Let's take a listen here.
What do you love about golf?
Ooh, I think what I love most about golf is just getting to be outside, but also I think it's also still a very competitive thing for me. I like being good at it. I think it challenges me. Get competitive with my friends with it, with my family. Yeah.
Listen to how she describes golf. I like being good at it. I think it challenges me. I get competitive with my friends and family. That mindset reveals everything about Caitlin Clark's psychology. She's wired to compete, to dominate whatever she touches, and to seek out challenges. Now ask yourself, does Stephanie White's system seem designed to push Caitlin in the way she needs? Or does it sound like White wants to mold Caitlin into a role that limits her impact? When you have a player with that much competitive fire, that desire to be great, and you publicly declare that you're building around someone else, it's essentially telling that superstar, we don't truly value what you bring. Players like Caitlin Clark don't stay in situations where they feel undervalued. They demand trades, find organizations that recognize their worth, and align with their ambitions. Ignoring her potential or trying to fit her into a restrictive system risks losing her entirely, which benefits no one.
You know what's so crazy is just how everybody else, every other company, every other league understands and appreciates the value that Caitlin Clark brings. And it's like the only people that don't understand is the WNBA and everyone involved with the Indiana Fever. That's what's crazy to me. It's like golf understands the Caitlin Clark effect and respect it.
The Anna Golf event happening from November 12th to 16th highlights a stark contrast. The golf world is rolling out the red carpet for Caitlin Clark, recognizing her crossover appeal and the attention she brings to their sport. They understand her star power and how her participation elevates their event. Meanwhile, her professional basketball team treats her as if she's easily replaceable. Can you see how backwards that is? The sport she plays professionally sees her as just a role player, while another sport recognizes her as the main attraction. This reveals a lot about the WNBA's marketing and leadership. They've been handed a rare gift, a player who could have been the face of women's basketball for the next decade, someone capable of bringing sustained mainstream attention to the league. Instead of building their entire marketing strategy around Caitlin Clark, they're letting coaches and teams sabotage that potential with petty politics and ego-driven decisions. It's a missed opportunity to truly capitalize on her star power.
Value. The NFL even understand The NBA understand. Every major league understands except the league she is a part of. It is crazy. It is crazy, man. Just how do you
Every other company and sports league understands and truly values the immense impact Caitlin Clark can have. The only ones seemingly blind to her potential are the WNBA and everyone involved with the Indiana Fever. That sentence should be displayed on billboards outside the league's headquarters because it encapsulates the core issue in a single phrase. This is classic organizational dysfunction. When those inside the system fail to see the obvious, while everyone on the outside recognizes the opportunity. The problem lies in politics, ego, and personal agendas clouding judgment, preventing clear decision-making. What makes this situation even more perilous for the Fever is Caitlin Clark's considerable leverage. She has options, endorsement deals that dwarf her WNBA salary, opportunities across other sports, and ventures beyond basketball. She's not reliant on the Fever the way they are on her. When Stephanie White publicly talks about building around Kelsey Mitchell, it's not just disrespectful. It's actively pushing away the player who could be the franchise's main attraction. That's not good coaching. That's organizational malpractice, failing to recognize and prioritize the star power that could elevate the team. So where does this leave us? Caitlin Clark is in the gym, preparing diligently for another dominant season. Meanwhile, White remains committed to building around Kelsey Mitchell, and ownership is reportedly frustrated with how the situation is being handled. The fan base is already on the edge, ready to revolt if Caitlin demands a trade. Something has to give soon. Will Caitlin stay and attempt to make it work under a coach who clearly doesn't prioritize her? Or will she demand a trade to an organization that truly values her talent? Or perhaps the Fever will finally make a coaching change before losing their most valuable asset in franchise history. The tension is mounting, and the next move could dramatically reshape the franchise's future. Drop your thoughts. This situation is about to explode.